in their opener here at home in Toms River as they take on the Lacey Lions. It's a very interesting matchup of non-conference teams. Hi everyone, I'm Ken Turp, and once again back here on the crew doing color commentary. With me this year will be Bob Strangia on my right, the former coach of the Red Bank Buccaneers, and on my left, Ray Wilson, former assistant coach at Toms River High School South and also at Lakewood High School. And of course, both of these gentlemen worked quite a few games last year on Channel 8. Now, I said we got an interesting matchup because we have St. Joseph, one of the few teams left in the area that's still independent. They did not join the Shore Conference when they opened it up to the parochial schools. And we have Lacey, which is just going into the Shore Conference, their second year of football, their first year in Class C. And the Lacey Lions, a lot of people feel, are the team to beat in their first year in the conference. We know they had a good year last year. They were 5-4 in their first year of football, a deceiving record because they played a lot of bigger schools, including Toms River High School South. And we're going to get a little information on these teams. First of all, let's find out about the visitors in white tonight. Lacey under Lou Versillo. His old boss, of course, at Red Bank was Bob Strangia. Lou succeeded Bob as head coach of the Buccaneers before coming to start the Lacey program. Bob, what did you find out about this year's Lions team?
All right, Ken, as you said, last year in its first year of varsity football, Lacey Township went 5-4. From that ball club, they lost 3 super players in Kevin Smith, Scott Stevenson, and Bob Tupper. However, they had 93 kids come out for football this year. During the off-season, being a veteran coach that he is, Coach Vasilla put together a dynamite weight program, and he feels that his team is not only stronger, but faster this year. In their preseason exhibitions or scrimmages, they have looked tremendously impressive. They've limited opponents to less than 100 yards and did not yield a touchdown on defense in any of their 3 scrimmages. However, what sounds like a bed of roses has not been that way this week. This week, the team has been riddled with all kinds of nagging problems. The number 1 running back, John Donnelly, has been hurt, has not practiced all week, and his condition tonight is questionable. I understand that he can be used if he's ready, but they would rather not play him unless they have to. The offensive center for the Lacey Lions, Jeff Fenton, has a separated shoulder. Jeff also plays linebacker, and he's going to be out for 3 weeks. On top of that, the team had a virus infection go through it, and several of the key players were missing this week, which is a problem because they had to replace them with younger players, which caused all kinds of problems in terms of timing. The timing was off. The Lacey Lions, however, on offense will be running their familiar wing T offense. And with the wing T, that's synonymous with quick opening plays in the middle, counter plays, trap plays, and play action passes. Their game plan is to control the ball, to keep it away from that explosive veer offense of St. Joe's. We're going to have a great game tonight. Ken?
All right, before I go to Ray Wilson and St. Joseph, mass confusion here in the beginning of the year, not only for the coaches trying to get a line on their teams, but we're having a lot of confusion here and trying to get things organized. And the coaches wanted to go with their warm-ups a little longer than usual, so we're not going to be able to introduce the starting lineups tonight. Now, Ray, what is the word on the Griffins of St. Joseph?
Well, Coach Bob Tarmolin, when I spoke to him during the week, spoke very highly of his Griffin football team. He said they're an experienced unit, and they have a solid group of seniors football players who are not only good on the field, they are outstanding citizens and good in the classroom. And this leadership, he feels, is going to be a very big plus for the Griffins this year. They return their backfield intact. Their line is solid up front. They've moved some veterans around, put in some newcomers, but the coaching staff feels that they are a team to watch. At quarterback, they bring back Anthony Baglio, who had an outstanding last half of the season last year, getting 800 yards in 7 games. Gary Choncone and Bob Gould round out a veteran backfield. Up front in the line, it will be Big Ed Scott, 6'2", 240, and Mike Bianis leading the line at the guard position. Defensively, the Griffins will come out in a 52 defense. A lot of the same people will be appearing. They will be relying on a lot of their veteran ball players to go both ways. Coach Tarmolin feels that they must get improvement out of their corners and establish their ground game so that Baglio can go to the air and open the offense up for the Griffins.
Okay, gentlemen. Any predictions on tonight's ball game, Bob?
I kind of like Lacey tonight. I think Coach Vasilla is going to be ready, and I think you're going to see Lacey by 1 touchdown. 21-14, Ken.
Ray?
I also like the Lacey Lions. There was a lot of rumbling coming out of Lacey Township early, and I think that if they are the football team that everybody thinks they are going to overcome a lot of their problems and win this football game, and I like them somewhere like 3 touchdowns to 1.
And I'm going Lacey 20-14. And gentlemen, I'll see you up in the booth.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let me bring in a man who may be familiar to you on Channel 8. He is the Director of Consumer Affairs in Ocean County. Just recently took over his new assignment, but for quite a few years he was right on Channel 8, and he was more or less my predecessor here at Channel 8 as far as doing play-by-play. And I'm talking about Ken Leake, who was the program director for Channel 8. And Ken, I wanted to get you down here tonight because I was thinking the other night, I wonder what year this is for high school football on Channel 8. And I says, who better to ask than Ken Leake, because he did the first game on Channel 8. Do you remember when that game was, what season, and who was involved?
Well, yeah, I do remember that it was a Thanksgiving game, and it was 1972, and it was Southern Regional and Central Regional. That was the year right after Coach Boyd passed away, and the great Keys-Kilmerry Bell combination graduated, and Southern Regional defeated Central Regional that year in a very good played ball game, and that was the first football game that ever appeared on Clear TV cable. After that, 1973, Clear TV cable put in a full program of football and has had a full program of football ever since in playoff games. Your schedule is going to be more like 22 to 23 games, and that is the type of commitment Clear TV cable has had to high school sports here in Ocean County, and I'm really proud to say I was part of it.
Now, we're talking then that this is going to be about our 11th season then of high school football. Over the years, do you have a most memorable game on Channel 8 that you were involved in?
The most memorable game really is a terrible thing to bring up because it's a game in which an area team lost. But it is the most memorable because there's one play that I'll never ever forget. And it was 1976 when Toms River South traveled to Camden in the Group 4 South Jersey Championship game. And it was the third quarter. The game was close. Camden was ahead. There was no doubt in anybody's mind at the game that Camden's players were bigger, they were stronger, but the discipline of Coach Signorino had the South team in the game. There was no doubt about that either. And there was a play where the quarterback went back to pass. He threw a forward pass. He was hit at the same time he threw it. They ruled it a lateral. A Camden player picked up the ball, went for a touchdown, and that was it for Toms River South. I personally looked at that tape 15 to 20 times myself, and I can assure you that in my mind, that was one case where the official made a mistake. It was a forward pass, as the rule is in high school football. If you are passing forward and the ball goes lateral because somebody hit you, it's still an incomplete forward pass. It was not ruled that way. Toms River South went on to lose that game. It was their first appearance in the state playoffs. I might add it was only the second year they had the state playoffs, and it's a terrible thing to say that that's my most memorable game, whereas an area team lost, but it was.
We're going to take a timeout for the national anthem. All right, very quickly, Ken, because we got to get up to the booth. Most memorable player you ever saw play on Channel 8?
Oh, there were so many of them right here at St. Joe's. There was Robert Taylor. There were so many of them. But there's one person that stood out as the best high school football player I ever saw, in my mind, on the football field. I don't care if you put him at quarterback, running back, split end, tight end. His name was Donnie Hampton. He played for Toms River South, and he was a super athlete, great baseball player, but on the football field, he was super.
Our director in a truck now is Tim Everett. Who was the director working in the truck that first game you did, Central and Southern, 1972?
His name was John Grassberger. He was also our station manager. He is now an attorney in San Diego, California. After that, Ray Manuel took over, son of our president, Ernie Manuel. And from there on, we had many people. You mentioned Tim Everett. I would like to mention that Tim Everett was with the company when we first went color in 1974, and it was his idea to put in instant replay, which it did in fact work in 1975. The first year that any cable company in the state of New Jersey had instant replay, Clear TV Cable was the company, and it was 1975. I was part of it. Part of the crew that's here tonight was part of it, and we're quite proud of it.
Okay, so we've come a long way, and as I said, our 11th year of high school football here on Channel 8.
Prediction.
All right, I asked the other guys for prediction. Go ahead, Ken.
You know, you all picked Lacey Township. All right, now I think Lacey Township is going to make it into the state playoffs in their group in the state. But I like the size of St. Joe's. I like the home field advantage. And there's a man upstairs that says that the Lord's with him, and I'm going to pick St. Joe's.
All right, we'll go along with that. We have to have somebody different. Okay, Ken, I want to thank you for coming down. We wish you good luck with your new job.
Thank you, Ken, very much. And if you need any help in the press box anytime to teach those former coaches how it's done, just let me know.
Okay. We'll be back with the opening kickoff. And again, my thanks to Ken Leake for coming back tonight on Channel 8. We'll be back in just a moment.
I'm Joe Baker, president of Princeton Gamma Tech. This Mitsubishi MU2 was financed for us by New Jersey National Bank, which also provides us with a major continuing line of credit, construction equipment loans, and foreign collections, and which, incidentally, is our #1 bank. If yours is a company looking to get off the ground, remember, building New Jersey business is New Jersey National's business.
You know, Frank, many of our old customers must be wondering where we've been working these days.
Hey, that's right, Joe. You know, all of our friends could find us at Carolina Furniture, Ocean County's largest furniture discount store.
You know, that's right, Frank, old buddy. And you know what? It's a pleasure working for Ron and Earth Sunshine at Carolina Furniture, because the money savers prices can't be beat. Carolina Furniture sells the finest furniture from North Carolina at factory prices. Huge savings on living rooms, dining rooms, and bedroom suites. Tremendous savings on recliners, tables, chairs, and rockers. Plus, you know, Frank, incredible savings on suite sofas.
Well, Joe, there's no doubt about it. Carolina Furniture has something for every room in your house at factory direct prices to you. The money saver cannot be undersold.
That's right, Frankie. So when you think furniture, visit Carolina Furniture and ask for me, Joe Stadia.
Wait a minute. Ask for me, Frank Mackey.
Wait a minute, Tuggy, ask for me.
Wait a minute, Chuck, they're going to ask for me.
No.
Carolina Furniture, the money saver, Route 9 in Bayville and Route 9 in the Pleasant Plains Mall between Lakewood and Toms River.
For over 50 years, Charney's has been serving the Ocean County business community with everything for the office. From a prestigious selection of office furniture, the sale and service on quality name business machines, all types of business forms, supplies, gifts, and stationery, to a personalized printing service for special events, you can count on Charney's. Charney's also offers complete layout and design assistance, plus financing and leasing plans arranged. Whether office, home, or school, think Charney's, 17 Washington Street, downtown Toms River. Call 201-349-7700. 32.
All right, folks, we're about ready to start the 1982 high school football season, as the St. Joseph Griffins will be in their home blue tonight, blue shirts, blue pants, white numerals. The Lacey Lions across the way in the traveling white, gray pants, and the blue numerals. And, of course, as the Asbury Park Press sports staff was telling me up at the All-Star game that we did last month, they think that Lacey has the sharpest helmets in the Shore area. Any of you coaches want to touch on the Lions Paw design on the helmets?
Well, Ken, I just like Lacey color scheme to start with, and I think it blends into the lion paws thing, and Lacey's done a lot with it, as we mentioned last year when they painted the street outside the high school.
All right, now St. Joseph is going to kick off going right to left, and Ralph Stocco is the kickoff man, number 23 for St. Joseph. Dropping back, Greg Musselman to the near side, number 21 for Lacey. Curtis Freeman to the far side, number 25. They are both seniors. Greg, of course, the younger brother of former Central Regional All-Shore quarterback Jeff Musselman, now at Harvard. Freeman takes the ball, and this game is underway. We have a new high school season going now. Good return right up the center of the field by Curtis Freeman, and Lacey's going to have excellent field position to start tonight's ball game.
Ball's going to be in about the 42-yard line, Ken. I was watching St. Joe's kickoff early. I've been practicing. He was kicking down to the 20-yard line. It's just where he kicked it today. Versillo expected that. He said he'd kick the ball to the 20 and he'd have a wedge and return it up the middle and expected to get good field position, and he did.
Scott Ward is the quarterback. He's number 19. He is a senior. He got a chance to start 3 games last year when Kevin Smith went out with a finger injury. He didn't go out. He moved the tailback, and Ward took over quarterback, so he has experience. And they hand off over the left side, and Andy Pasqua, number 44, running the ball, and he'll line up at fullback for the Lions. In the backfield with Pasqua, I believe we have Tom Donald. Let's check the numbering. Donnelly was a question mark. I think he is going to play tonight, but he's not starting at tailback. Ray, and see if you can pick up the...
Yeah, I will, Ken. I'm just trying to...
They're going with a split backfield right now. I believe it is Donald in there. Wing to the right. Musselman is the wing back in motion. Again, right up the middle. Very close, but maybe a half a yard short of the first down.
It's interesting here, Ken.
Pasqua, the ball carrier, number 44.
How Versillo's going to play this, because he's got a 3rd and 1. He's got good field position. He may turn around and just go for a big play here because he's in the middle of the field, or he just may play conservative and try and pick up the first down.
There you see the Lions huddle. The center, Tim Noren, up over the ball. Jeff Fenton was lost with a separated shoulder. He's going to be out a few more weeks. Preseason injury. He's an outstanding veteran that they're missing right now on this Lacey team. They're going for that first down, and I believe they have it just across midfield in the St. Joseph territory.
Yeah, Ken, I think one of the interesting things that will come up here is Lacey will have to test the St. Joe corners because the St. Joe coaching staff was very concerned about the defensive play of their corner players.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Lacey Lions. Ward looking to the sideline for the play, coming in with one of the linemen.
All right, Kenny, Lou has opened up with a classic Delaware wing T offense, which has a power play, which you've seen him run a couple of times in a row, a quick opener, and it's based on a big play coming off the wing back that you see going in motion.
All right, here we go. Hand off to the wing back, Musselman in motion, and he's dumped after about a yard gain.
We call it play, Ken, but it wasn't a big play.
St. Joe's is in a basic 52 defense, but they're 4 deep, rotating towards the strength of the Lacey Lion offense.
In that Lacey lineup, Glenn Christie, 45, is the split end. Tim Garrity, 33, is the tight end. The guards are Kevin Lundberg, number 61, and Scott Quinn, number 55. Rich Tupper, 75, and Rich Kozak, 70, are the tackles. And this is Donnelly, who was injured in preseason, but he is playing tonight. He is the normal starting tailback, and apparently he is going to see considerable action tonight. John Donnelly, and he is the fastest line on the squad. He runs track, number 22, a senior.
Donnelly had an exceptionally fine preseason and has not practiced the whole week. I was surprised that Coach Versillo brought him in so early in the game.
We mentioned Musselman is the wingback for Lacey, and of course he started as a sophomore. He didn't start, but he played a lot as a sophomore on Central Regional's team when they had an outstanding team in Class A South. Here's the flags, first penalty of the night.
We had a Lacey lineman move, Kenny, from the set position. When the signal was given for the man to go in motion out of the Delaware, one of the linemen jumped.
Junie Boyd, the veteran official who handles the All-Shore Football Classic every year, is the official tonight. Who is on his crew, Ray?
Okay, we have referee Huey Boyd, the umpire is Charles Watson, the head linesman is Alan Del Vento, and the line judge is Howie Dombrowski.
Of course, we all call him Junie, but Hugh Boyd, of course, principal of the Seaside Heights Elementary School. Up the middle goes the Lacey Lions, and they're going to come short of the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 2nd and about 11. Let's run down that St. Joseph defense. Mike Bienis, number 79. Ed Scott, number 74. Jim Schultz, 73. George Connell, 77. And Jim Wynn, 65, across that front 5. Lance Raleigh, one of the linebackers, number 50. And Ralph Dittmeyer, number 35 for the Griffins. Bob Gould, number 21. Dave McCarthy, number 22 at the corners. And Tommy Lyons and Jim Delane are the safety men for St. Joseph. Donnelly finds a hole. Donnelly cuts back across the grain. And Donnelly has what looks like a first down from here. Beautiful run by John Donnelly.
Just a little quick sweep out of that Delaware, Ken. He got 2 good blocks by the guards. As the guards split to make their blocks, Donnelly hit the open seam, cut back against the grain, and almost broke it all away. It was a beautiful run.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention, Bob. I was really impressed by the fact that he cleared the linebackers and cut back in the offside blocking.
Watch on a replay. The fake is in the line. Donnelly comes behind 2 guards, gets 2 good blocks, cuts back against the grain, cuts upfield, and if he didn't lose his footing a little bit there, he might have gone all the way.
Both Donnelly and Musselman were sprinters on a track team. Musselman, the second fastest on the team. This is Musselman with a football. Fumble. Loose ball. St. Joseph has it. Let's get the number of this player. Russ Irving, number 43, the big running back of the Griffins, comes up with a football, and he was playing linebacker on that play.
Ken, I was just about to comment. It looked to me like on 2 previous exchanges that the Lacey Lions were having a problem handling the ball, and it looked again as Musselman took that when he was bobbling it.
We mentioned earlier that Lacey had some trouble with timing with a lot of people sick this week.
All right, let's run down that St. Joseph offensive backfield. Tony Baglio, who we talked about, number 17, who really moved the Griffins when he took over quarterback in the 3rd game last year. He is a 6'2", 175-pound senior, backed up by Jerry O'Donnell. The fullback, Gary Troncone, number 25, and we'll have Bob Gould at tailback, and Russ Irving's going to see a lot of action. Right now, Russ Irving is in there at the tailback position, who recovered that fumble for the Griffins. Ed Nesler goes in motion, but here's a flag on the first play for the Griffins from scrimmage. Five-yard penalty coming up against the Lacey Lions, encroachment.
Lions a little bit overeager there, Ken. They saw the motion man, and about 4 of the linemen jumped as soon as the motion man moved.
I mentioned Ed Nesler, 41, is the slot back, and Mike Bontempo will alternate with him. Right now, it's number 10, Brian Dahlin, also in there as one of the tight ends. He'll alternate with Jim Wynn. And here's the quarterback keeping, and gets very good yardage. That was Jerry O'Donnell, the backup quarterback, on the carry. 1st and 10 for St. Joseph.
Ken, St. Joe's open with that veer option, and the quarterback actually rode the fullback right up into the line. Coach was saying before the game, Coach Tamolin, that he actually allows the quarterback to read. You can see the replay here, and watch how far he rides that back into the line before he steps out. The Lacey defensive back came up on his key, and there was nobody to cover the quarterback.
Now we have Jerry O'Donnell. We have Baglio in there now. Flag on the play. Griffins have a 1st and 10 on their own 36, and the penalty, again, is going to be against Lacey. So the Lions have just given the Griffins 10 yards in this drive, and that'll move the ball across the 40 to the 43.
Russillo was saying before the game, Ken, that he had to contain these Griffin backs because they were much bigger than his defensive backs, and he didn't want them breaking into the secondary clean.
George Connell over the ball, 6'4", 234-pound center for St. Joseph. And Baglio hands off to the second back coming through, number 25, Gary Troncone. He picks up about 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and call it 3.
Yeah, Bob, it might be interesting to watch here the Lacey secondary and how quickly St. Joe starts to throw the ball. The deep middle looks like it is very open to me on the Lacey Lions.
You mentioned that. The Lacey Lions are up really tight. If you can look at them, they're really up there tight.
All right, here's the 2nd down play. Fullback, straight ahead, 1st down for St. Joseph, as that ball is going to be up around the 47-yard line, 48. Troncone was the ball carrier. Let's run down an offensive line for the Griffins. I mentioned Connell at center. Lance Raleigh is the right guard. Mike Bienis at left guard. Ed Scott at left tackle, number 74. Tom Foley, number 65 at right tackle. Jim Wynn and Brian Dolan will alternate at tight end. Wynn is 19 and Dolan is 10. And Dave McCarthy, 22, is a split end. He'll alternate with Tommy Lyons, number 27. Calling those defensive signals for the Lacey Lions right now is John Sabaris, the left linebacker. He's wearing number 54 for Lacey. 1st and 10. And Irving, fumble. And Lacey let's see if they've got it. St. Joseph says no, we've still got the ball. And the Griffins maintain possession. Looked like Mike Bienis on the football, number 79. So they pick up yardage on the play, gain of about 3, 2nd and 7 at the Griffin 48-yard line.
I might look for something here, a little bit of a pop pass to a tight end on the side of the split end for St. Joe's. It looks like he might be open with the Lacey coverage.
I formation, Irving the tailback. And here's the first pass by Baglio, and he's should have had a completion there. The ball was dropped by Dave McCarthy, intended receiver. He put it right in there.
The ball was right on the money, Ken. The quarterback stepped back sharply. This veer option lends itself very nicely to that type of passing game because the backs have to read the run first, and it allows the receivers to get that 10 or 15-yard open area right away.
That Lacey defense across the front 5, Tim Garrity, Tim Braddock, Ralph Scaffa, apparently the key man at nose guard for Lacey, Rich Tupper and Andy Pasqua, the front 5 for the Lions. And again, they hit off the left side on this play, and it's going to be a pickup of about 3. Tron Cone, the ball carrier at the fullback.
Griffins are going to have to punt.
It looks a little bit to me like St. Joe's going to have to go on off downs a little bit, throw on running downs and run on passing downs to throw off some rhythm.
No question about it, Ray. The Lions are gambling. They have all their people up when they think they're going to run, and they're going into kind of a prevent, dropping people back when they think it's going to be a pass.
Dropping back, Freeman and Musselman for Lacey. Here's the punt by Baglio. Short punt. Freeman trying to get to the near side, stacked up immediately. And we're going to have to take a timeout. We'll be right back in a moment.
Anyone can install a water heater if you know your local codes. If you're a professional licensed plumbing contractor, it's easy. Some home improvements are best done by you. Installing a water heater isn't one of them. Let your professional plumber do it for you with a State water heater, the best under the sun.
Where can you go to find the area's only Armstrong Floor Fashion Center dealer who can offer you a written guarantee from Armstrong assuring you of its quality, or the very best in hardwood flooring featuring Bruce along with 7 other manufacturers represented to bring you over 50 different floors on display? And how about ceramic tile? Do you know the local retailer who carries a complete stock of mosaic and quarry tiles? The answers to all these questions, plus everything you want to know about redecorating, visit the House of Paneling, 298 Highway 9, Bayville.
Renting ski equipment can be a problem, but not at Maritas. Our qualified personnel are trained to pamper you with comfortable fitting ski boots featuring easy step-in bindings. At Maritas, all our skis are sharpened and waxed regularly to make skiing a pleasure. Special rates are available for groups of 10 or more. Equipment can be reserved in advance. And be sure to ask about our daily and weekly bus trips starting in November. That's Maritas, the skier's place, Highway 37 East, Toms River. Call 201-270-6404.
Savings accounts, free checking for senior citizens, car loans, trust services, investment advisory service. Hi, I'm Suzanne Kelleher, manager of New Jersey National Bank's Manchester office. As my list suggests, whatever banking service you need, personal or business, New Jersey National is the logical place to locate it. You'll find a dozen convenient Ocean County offices, each providing full circle service. Just look for the red circle sign, New Jersey National Bank.
We are back, and credit Dave McCarthy for that tackle on the special teams. And Ralph Dittmeyer was shaken up on the play for St. Joseph, the starting linebacker, but he came off on his own power. He's okay. Lacey puts the ball in play. Donnelly, the ball carrier. And Donnelly's going to get some good yardage.
Interesting here, Ken, to see the Lions run a sweep into the short sideline. I think maybe they were looking for St. Joe's to overload the defense to the wide side of the field, but St. Joe's didn't.
Our tackle is made by Rowley, the linebacker, Lance Rowley. So we've got a 2nd and call it 5 for Lacey, operating in their own territory. Ball around the 30-yard line. No score here in the first quarter at St. Joseph High School. Again, up the middle. Lacey trying to power them out. And no gain, stacked up by a host of blue shirts. Getting off the bottom.
What's emerging here early, Kenny?
Number 19 was Jimmy Wynn, and I saw number 74 also in there, Ed Scott, the left tackle.
We're beginning to see a David and Goliath kind of game. St. Joe's is bigger and more powerful. The Lions a little smaller, a little bit quicker, and they're kind of neutralizing each other.
All right, Lacey talking it over, and here comes Scott Ward, brings him up. They're going to send number 45 to the near side, and that is Glenn Christie, the split end. Pass attempt by Ward, but he's going to run it, and he's stacked up for a loss. And in there again was number 74, Ed Scott, to make the tackle. Two big plays on defense by 6'4", 247-pound Ed Scott.
Yeah, and I think on that particular play, the size of Scott Ward hindered him at 5'8". He couldn't see over the big St. Joe lineman.
Credit to St. Joe's defensive secondary, too. They did a great job covering there. There was nobody open to throw to.
All right, we have a whistle here on the play before they could get this punt underway. Let's see what the penalty is. Timeout here on the field, okay? While we have a moment here, I just want to briefly touch on something that was in a paper. What do you guys feel about the controversy of unlimited practice? They did away with all the rules by the NJSIA. You used to be able, you couldn't start any contact until after September 1st. Now you can practice all summer if you want. Now, Bob, you're a former head coach. How do you feel about
Kenny,
that?
as a former head coach, I don't like the rule because different schools represent different economic areas. There are places where kids have to have summer jobs and so on like that, and the summer practice is a hardship because if you have it at night, there are kids who work nights in restaurants and so on like this. We are a resort area. If you have it in days, there are kids that work as lifeguards. So if you have a school where the kids have a few more bucks, you can get a lot more of your players out there, and it's a tremendous advantage. And if you don't, it could be a problem for you.
Ray, you agree or disagree?
Well, I agree with Bob. I think it
well, pick up a low snap. Let's see what's going to happen here. And it's going to be St. Joseph ball deep in Lacey territory. That ball was rolled back to the punter. He never had a chance. Guinness in there, and Lacey suffers the big loss. Sophomore Scott Churchwell does a punting for Lacey, but he never had a chance.
Starting center is out. Fenton is out with a shoulder separation, and we saw the kind of miscues that happens with young kids.
All right, St. Joseph putting the ball in play at about the 16-yard line. Big break for the Griffins. Baglia runs the option, keeps the ball, nowhere to go. Lacey defends that very well. Making the stop for the Lions was number 85, Tim Braddock, a 6'1", 210-pound senior.
Braddock came up and delivered a great shot on that. A good open field tackle, jarred the helmet right off Baglia.
Ken, just to go back to the question that you asked, I think it puts a lot of pressure on the coaches to have practice because everybody wants to win and do that great job, and it brings on a lot of undue pressure.
All right, here's a 2nd and 13 play for St. Joseph. Oh, stacked up in the backfield. Hit immediately. Nowhere, no hole whatsoever. Ralph Scaffa, we mentioned, is the key, they feel, from the Lacey viewpoint, the key to their defense. 5'11", 185-pound nose guard. He was right there to hit the ball carrier immediately.
Lacey runs a 50 defense too, Ken. We got a replay coming up in here, and there's a stunt on, and it breaks through real clean on a slanting stunt, and he made a good tackle.
More loss on the play, so we got about 16 yards to go now on 3rd down. And here's a man jumping the gun, Nesler, off and running long before the ball was snapped.
I was just about to comment there. That looked like a Canadian Football League formation out there. And then when Nesler started to go forward, I thought I was in the wrong country. Of course, we might be watching a lot of that coming up on the weekends.
I got to ask you, we get a chance later on, your opinion of the NFL strike and how you feel about that. Right now, we're going to have 3rd down, and what would you say that is, about 20 yards to go now after the 5-yard penalty? So the Griffins had a golden opportunity here to cash in after the bad snap on the Lacey punt attempt. But Lacey has risen to the occasion and made some big defensive plays. That is the end of the 1st quarter. We have no score. We'll be back with 2nd quarter action, Lacey and St. Joseph, in just one moment.
Right.
You're here to learn to pitch Pine Belt Chevrolet the right way.
You know, Frank, many of our old customers must be wondering where we've been working these days.
Hey, that's right, Joe. You know, all of our friends could find us at Carolina Furniture, Ocean County's largest furniture discount store.
In the series, but this is our first ball game of the new season. We'll have 2 games this weekend on Channel 8. Baglio wants to throw. He needs long yardage. Goes down the middle, broken up. No blue shirts around the football. And Pasqua was the man who batted that ball to the ground. Lacey has managed to hold tough here.
Pasqua went for the interception here, Ken. That would have been a big interception because it's the difference of getting a ball with good field position. Now you give the Griffins a chance to either go for it in the field position they have, and they may very well go for it here. And instead, they got that 4th down.
And Lacey defense covered very well on that particular play.
Well, the Griffins are back at the 25-yard line, 4th down and 20. Baglio most likely going to the air here again. And he's going down the left side. Here's a man falling. He was claiming interference, and he's going to get it. The flag is on the play. The St. Joseph receiver was tripped and knocked to the ground. They actually bumped into each other, defender and McCarthy, the intended receiver. And that'll be a big break for St. Joseph there.
That was not an intentional interference, Ken. That was an honest bump.
They just both were going for the football and just ran into each other.
And that's a big play.
Here's a replay. Their feet just tangled, and that's going to cost Lacey.
Now you see what that interception before cost them, because they would have had the ball. Instead now it's a penalty, and it can only be half the distance. Lacey gets a break in that the penalty can only be half the distance to the goal, and that stops them from having the ball really deep in their own territory.
We hope you viewers had a chance to clip out our high school schedule this year on Channel 8 that was in the supplements of the area newspapers, the Times Observer and Times Observer and the Asbury Park Press. If you didn't, when we get a chance later in the game, we'll try to give you some of the upcoming games you'll see on Channel 8. You might want to get a pencil and jot down the dates of the playbacks. Here's Irving. Irving may go for a touchdown. He does. Touchdown, John Irving. Beautiful, strong run by the big tailback. And he is one big, strong runner.
Ken, instead of the traditional veer option offense, they came in a power I. Coach Vasillo had said before the game that he could not afford to have Irving loose in the secondary. He's over 200 pounds, and he had such small backs. You can see he gets 2 good blocks, breaks into the secondary, and then he just runs over people. Irving is a very strong back.
The distance, Ray?
Yeah, that was a 15 yards out for the touchdown.
15-yard touchdown run. Irving gets the honors of scoring the first touchdown of the new season here on Channel 8 in the game of the week. Extra point attempt by Gould. Bob Gould is wide on the attempted conversion. The score remains St. Joseph 6, Lacey nothing with 11 minutes and 42 seconds to play here in the second period at St. Joseph High School.
It's early in the second period, Ken, but we've seen that what happens with 2 teams, high school teams, on opening day. There's a little nerves, a little bit of jitters. The ball's been bobbled a few times. Timing's a little bit off. Both of these teams are really not as sharp as they will be 1 or 2 games from now.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank somebody that was a big help to me. I mentioned a lot of confusion on the first weekend of a season, getting things together. Even the coaches aren't sure of their lineups, and I didn't even get my lineups finished until this morning, and I have to thank Debbie Hennessy, who works in John Gardy's office down at Lacey High School, for her help today. She is the secretary in the athletic office at Lacey. Debbie, I thank you for your help this morning. And I also want to mention Steve Gepp is not here tonight, director of athletics at St. Joseph. He's having knee surgery. His old basketball knee went, and he's having some cartilage removed. And acting tonight in his place is Tom Weston as director of athletics, and we wish Steve a speedy recovery. We want to send him a card to St. Joseph. We certainly hope.
A lot of room there.
Curtis Freeman. Curtis Freeman has a good return for Lacey, and he is going to be up across the 42-yard line. And that was a beautiful run.
Ken, the kick did not have great height on it. It was fielded cleanly, and it was a great run back. There was some good blocks in the wedge, and Vasillo again returned it right where he wanted to in the game plan, and he's got good field position. Let's see if they can come back now.
Yeah,
I mentioned... Go ahead, Ray.
I was going to say that going back to when I was working as an assistant coach, one thing we always heard was we couldn't kick the ball in the end zone. We were going to kick it another way because to the 20s is a good run-back territory.
1st and 10 from the 40. Here is Donnelly trying to get outside, and St. Joseph defends it very well. That's going to be no gain on the play, and it looked like number 26. Troncone. All right, it's going to be Troncone on defense for St. Joseph. So Donnelly was not able to use that speed to get to the outside on that play, so it's going to be 2nd and 10.
Troncone strung out the blockers, Ray, if you know, and he did a great job there.
All right, Lacey comes out with split end to the right. Musselman, the wing back, in motion from the left. Ward looking to throw. He's going to get sacked. The blue shirts stack it up. And Troncone again makes the play, number 25.
Yeah, and once again, I think that Ward's height hurt him a little bit. And something that's impressing me, St. Joe's big people are a little bit quicker than maybe we suspected. I mean, they are moving very, very well and putting a lot of pressure on the Lacey Lions.
Troncone is quite fired up there as he came off the bottom of the stack, and always feels nice to get a quarterback sack if you're playing defense.
There's also been nobody open in that secondary, Ken, to throw to.
3rd and 11 for Lacey. Again, here's a street, look for a screen here, deep drop. Ward scrambling. Ward trying to get to the far sideline, takes another loss. St. Joseph storming in there. I see 25 back there again, Troncone.
Yeah, Troncone is there, and St. Joe's is really pumped up. You're watching the emotion that they're showing out on the football field.
Lacey tried to set up a screen, Ken, but the screen was covered. There was nobody to throw to, and wisely, he just held the ball. You can see here, the screen's covered, so he drops back, tries to get the other way. He's looking for an open man, but he just can't get away from him.
Back to live action. Here's Scott Churchwell's punt, fielded by Nesler. Ed Nesler to the near sideline, and he is down.
I would just say the tackle was made by Lacey Township on that one because they were all over there.
Jeff Sturman led that special unit for the Lacey Lions on coverage, number 24. So St. Joseph takes over, 1st and 10 on offense in their own territory. And the ball, see where they're going to mark it, about the 21-yard line. 6-0 if you joined us late. Russell Irving on a 15-yard run for St. Joseph in the 2nd quarter, early in the 2nd quarter. We have 8:50 left to play right now to the half. Again, the option. Baglio keeps Baglio in the secondary, and Baglio has a 1st down in front of the Griffin bench as he crosses to the 42-yard line.
Ken, that time they sent a man in motion, and Lacey was caught in a rotation to the motion. They ran the option back away from the flow, and they were able to break loose and pick up good yardage.
Here's the replay.
You watch the replay. Here's a man in motion. You can see the Lacey defender adjusting to it. Then they come back with the option. A great read by the quarterback. He keeps the ball. He cuts up the field and turns it into...
I'm impressed by the faking of the backs. I'm sorry, Ken.
Griffin's on the move right now. Once again, they've already got 1 touchdown. Long count by Baglio. Whistle. Now we have a delay of game possibly here. Or Lacey was jumping around on defense, a little anxious. Let's see what the call is. And it's St. Joseph. 5-yard penalty.
That's the one trouble with a long count in high school, Kenny. It's tough to keep your own kids on sides.
That was the same set that they scored a touchdown on.
We have another game coming up for you tomorrow night on Channel 8. We'll have the Central Regional Lakewood game, an old rivalry, coming up for you. So be with us again tomorrow night on Channel 8 for that ball game. Baglio stacked up for a loss. Pasqua shot through there. Now, it looked like he was faking it. Was he faking a pitch, or was that a mixed-up play, Bob? What happened there?
I think you might have had a busted play there. Too many people came through on that side. At first, it might have been like they were trying to set up a naked bootleg, but too many Lions came through, so I would guess it was a busted play.
Well, it's a big loss. Pasqua came shooting through there, and he makes a big play for the defense. We get a chance, gentlemen, I want you each to run down the respective coaching staffs. Ray, you can run down the St. Joseph's staff this year, and Bob, Lacey. Troncone, the ball carrier, and he'll pick up 3 or 4. Still long yardage for St. Joseph. Ball's at the 35-yard line of the Griffins.
Ken, while we got a minute here, it's the assistant coaches for St. Joe's are Mike Schul, the defensive coach, Bob Museri, the linebacker and receivers, Walt Peters, and Lou Lanzolato.
All right, here's a 3rd down and called about 17 yards to go for the Griffs. Baglio pitches back to Irving. Irving is going to go down. Scott Ward came up very quickly. He is the quarterback on offense and the free safety on defense, and he was there. Played that very well.
Ken, when Brasillo told me that Baglio runs a true option in high school, most high school teams call it a triple option, but it's predetermined. The quarterback calls a play in a huddle, and he'll fake, and everybody knows who's getting the ball. But Baglio, no question about it, he goes right up in a line with that ball and pulls it out at the last minute. It is being run as a true college option offense.
And it scares me as a coach looking at high school kids.
Freeman and Musselman, again, drop back. Baglio to punt. No rush. Freeman, fumble. That is picked up immediately by St. Joseph. Number 46 of the Griffins makes the big play, Mike Bontempo.
Interesting, Kenny, that ball cannot be advanced. That's a muff and not a fumble. The receiver never had a chance to take possession on a ball, so the ball can be recovered at that spot, but cannot be advanced since he never had possession.
Well, the Griffins are going to have the football in Lacey territory at the 36-yard line, and once again, the Griffins get a golden opportunity. There's the replay, and Musselman made the tackle for Lacey, even though it didn't really matter, as Bob said. The end result is that St. Joseph has excellent field position back on offense. Here goes Irving. Irving hit it and just spins forward on strength as the initial hit was made by number 85, Braddock, the left tackle for Lacey.
Yeah, it seems to me that the St. Joe's has a lot of confidence in Irving out of this I formation, and when they feel they need the yardage, they go to that particular formation.
Ray, Irving is big and fast and runs with a lot of power. He's a powerful back.
Now we have 2 receivers to the left side for the Griffins. 2nd down and 7. Irving again. Irving runs right over Kevin Lundberg and picks up a couple extra yards. He reminds me of a Cookie Gilchrist type of runner, Bob.
Exactly. He spins, he's got power, he gets off the ball, he's got good acceleration, very tough to bring down in the open. He for his size, he's got a lot of mobility.
I wonder how many people remember who Cookie Gilchrist was. He was the Jim Brown of the old American Football League, the Buffalo Bills. Big pile-driving fullback.
He was the franchise of the old Buffalo Bills.
Right. 3rd down and 4. Baglio. Baglio gets good yardage, and he looks like he's very close to a 1st down. Nice run. Tackle was made by Lundberg.
Yeah, Baglio is impressing me with his ball handling skills, and then when he does run the ball, he turns upfield. He doesn't waste time going east and west. He's going north.
So the Griffins have picked up a 1st down, and that ball's on the Lacey 21-yard line. St. Joseph leading 6-0 and on the move once again as a result of that fumble by Freeman on the punt. Now Baglio wants a timeout to talk it over. Well, we got this timeout here. A quick response to the strike. Whose side you on, gentlemen? Bob?
Well, I wouldn't mind making $90,000 a year as a wide receiver. And I'm really not on the player's side in this particular issue, because I feel as a fan, we're paying them indirectly, and I think they get a lot of benefits job-wise outside of their field as a result of them being in football.
I agree. I can't take the player's side. In my opinion, you contract somebody to do a job, and that's it, whatever the price is.
We're going to take a quick timeout, and then we'll come back. Here at St. Joseph High School, there you see a shot of the scoreboard. with the Griffins leading 6-0. I think this strike thing, I think, you know, again, the fans are the ones that are suffering. The players are going to suffer in their paychecks. The owners aren't suffering yet. They're still getting their TV money for 2 weeks. But again, like the baseball strike, it's a shame that the fans are treated the way they are. Here's Irving, and Irving is finally hit by number 78 of the Lions, and that is Sean, well, I should say Ralph Scappa, the nose guard. Scappa, I asked Ken Masur before the game who he felt was the dominating player on the front line, and he said no doubt about it, Ralph Scappa, the nose guard.
I'll tell you who's doing an impressive job for St. Joe's is the center. Kid is doing a lot of good blocking up there and
Talk about
moving.
George Connell. Irving behind that center, Connell. And Irving on second down is close but short of a first down. He's going to bring up a third and a short 2.
Ken, game plan observation here on the part of St. Joe's. They use their triple option offense up and down the middle part of the field, but when they get inside that 20, they go into the power I. When they get into that 4-down territory, and they know they got that big back in Irving, they just try and take advantage of their size and their power and just blow Lacey out of there.
Here's official, no, it's a Lacey timeout. With a score 6-0, 3rd and 2 played, Lacey takes timeout. We didn't mention the weather tonight, but it's one beautiful night for football. It's on the cool side. We've got a moon out here tonight, half moon, and the skies are clear. No wind factor at all. Nice, calm evening. And the fans certainly should be enjoying sitting here tonight.
Yeah, Ken, I think that we've overlooked one thing here tonight. This offensive line for St. Joe's, Scott and Bianis and Connell and Raleigh and Foley and Wynn right across there. They're doing an outstanding job. They're coming off the ball. Scott is impressive. Connell is impressive. Raleigh is not quite as big as the other guys, but he is quick. And if you look at their set, the left side of their offensive line is big.
The Griffin center, Connell, goes 234. Bianis next to him at left guard is 210. And then the left tackle, Scott, who we mentioned several big plays on defense, is 247 pounds. And Scott is 6'4", as is the center, George Connell. So they can pretty much stand up there and protect that quarterback, and Baglio can operate behind that line of scrimmage. Here's the big 3rd down play. 2 yards to go for the Griffins. Baglio throwing right over the middle. He's got Dolan. Dolan has a touchdown. That is Brian Dolan, a 6'4", 175-pound tight end. And Brian picks up the first Griffin touchdown through the air from Baglio. So they run for 1 and they pass for 1. That one came with 2 minutes and 39 seconds to go. The distance, Ray?
All right, we had the ball out about the 21-yard line for the touchdown. I was going to comment that we mentioned this earlier, that the middle of the secondary was open on the Lacey Lions, and St. Joe's took advantage of a nice situation.
All right, Ralph Stocco attempting the extra point. Bob Gould will... No, it's Gould kicking, okay. That's perfect. And Dolan was the holder on that extra point. So the score is St. Joe's of 13 and Lacey nothing. And a lot of the experts look wrong, including the 3 gentlemen right here in the booth. We are wrong, and Ken Leake is looking good on his prediction. He went with the Griffins.
Let me get something in here, Ken. There's a couple of things happening in the game. Number one, the Lions haven't gotten the ball on offense, and St. Joe's is beginning to wear down a Lion defense. That's number one. Number two, that was a great call by the St. Joe's coaching staff. They had a 3rd and 2. They went to the air. If it was incomplete, they still had 4th down to come back to pick up the 1st down. The Lions had to stop the run. It was the same look that they had shown previously. St. Joe's gave them the same look that they scored on at the power I, and the Lions committed to the run, and the receiver was wide open on that little pop pass over the middle.
All right, Griffin's ready to go here with the kickoff. Stocco. End over end, right down the middle to Freeman. Freeman, good blocking right behind 4 blockers. Wedges it all the way up to the 42-yard. A nice return by Lacey. They'll put the ball in play. 1st and 10 at their own 42. Trailing 13-0.
All 3 kickoffs, Lacey's gotten the ball back on excellent field position, all of them around a 41 or 42-yard line. it's important now. They got to get back in this game, because if not, St. Joe's could just play ball control with them and keep the ball away from them. They're so big and they can run a ball, and we've seen Tupper throw the ball and run a ball himself. St. Joe's is looking very good, very powerful ball club.
Lacey, tight end Garrity to the left side, split end to the right side. Ward rolling to his right, throws on the run, and gets his man for a first down to the far side of the field. Christie, the split end. Glenn Christie, who lined up, split to the right, and then ran an out pattern. And Ward makes the completion. 1st and 10 in the St. Joseph territory at the Griffin 45-yard line. There's the replay.
All right. The surprise here was that the play was called on first down with good field position, and Lacey went immediately to the air.
Well, we're running down. We got 2:07 on the clock.
All right, this time they send split end to the near side. Wing back in motion coming this way. Coming to the near side, Ward. And tried to dump it off to Pasqua over his head. That was a tough pass. He was running to his left, and he's a right-hander.
Ward rolled out to his left side, and he ran into a lot of pressure from St. Joe's, particularly number 79 at their big tackle. And he was forced to throw the ball. We talked earlier that there was trouble. Ward has trouble seeing over these big St. Joe's linemen like Mike Yanis.
Well, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if we mentioned this, but Baglio, the quarterback of the Griffins, has a swollen left elbow. And he is a left-hander, but apparently it hasn't bothered him. Didn't bother him on that touchdown pass to Dolan.
It may be why they're not throwing deep, though, Ken.
All right, here come the lines. 2nd and 10. And Ward on the run to Musselman, incomplete. Musselman dove to the ground, covered by McCarthy, number 22.
I think that one of the things we hear about with Lacey not involving their football team directly is the great community support that they're getting, and they do have a nice turnout here tonight, but right now the Lacey Lion fans are a little quiet, and I think probably a little shook because they're expecting big things.
I'm looking forward to our game next weekend when we go down to Lacey for the first home game and we see the live lion. They have a real live lion mascot they're going to have at home games this year. And right now, I was told by Versillo that right now they're trying to get a cage built for him. I hope he's in a cage by next weekend.
I'm not going on the field. He'll look at me like I'm Thanksgiving dinner.
3rd down, 10 to go. Ward is rushed. He's going to take the loss. And Troncone is having a big night. He's in there. He's had about 3 quarterback sacks tonight, Gary Troncone. So a big loss for Lacey. Brings up a punting situation here. 4th, and they've got at least 16 yards to go. Ward looking to the sideline. They haven't sent the kicking team on yet. And he wants a timeout to decide what they're going to do here. 13-0. I guess Lou Versillo would like to try to get something on the board here before halftime.
I'll tell you though, Ken, that's not the play. The play now is to kick the ball, because if you give up another score, you're blown out of the game. If not, you can go in at halftime and you can come back and score 2 touchdowns in the second half and still pull the game out.
Well, he's still got his offensive team out there, Bob. No move has been made to send the kicking team on.
The call now is to kick the ball away and regroup at halftime.
Yeah, I would go with you, Bob, and also the fact that we would have to be concerned about the snap, because they do have a substitute snapper in there.
Let me mention, coming up at halftime tonight, stay tuned for our halftime interview, and we'll be talking to Jurgen Westphal, the head soccer coach here at St. Joseph, and 2 of his standout ball players, and find out what's been going on with the Griffin soccer program, try to give them a little of the spotlight tonight. And they have a big night game coming up here at St. Joseph with their big rival, St. Rose, in October. We'll be talking about that. So join us for the halftime with Jurgen Westphal, the soccer coach of the Griffins. Well, they are going to punt it away. They agree with Bob's thinking here. Churchwell punts the ball. And loose football. Everybody diving for it, but I believe St. Joseph retains possession.
That's the other thing about the punt. You hope you punt and you get them deep in their territory. If you get the turnover, you have the time to put a score in.
Gentlemen, I'm starting to feel old. I see young Scott Churchwell out here, sophomore, just did the punting. Last year, he was a top baseball pitcher on the varsity as a freshman. but I went to school with his father at Central Regional. I'm starting to feel old.
Get Ken a chair.
Yeah, can I sit down?
I thought that was a shillelagh you had.
I might mention Bob Churchill got married at a very young age, just out of high school, but still, his son's out here playing tonight. Now St. Joseph's Irving is brought down, and on the tackle was number 78. And that's Scaffa, who we've mentioned quite a few times tonight, the nose guard.
Bob, how come everybody's friends got married young when they start talking about this?
Hey, wait a minute now. Bob Scott is a quarterback at East. I went to school with his dad at Central, and Bobby Scott got married in high school, so that gives you an idea they got married young.
He didn't get married young. He was 25. In those days, they didn't have any rules on how old you could be. No, Bobby Scott's father's a fine gentleman. We know him, and his son's an excellent quarterback.
Troncone, right now the Griffins just holding on to that football. They'll be very happy to go in with a lead of 13-0. That's the end of the half right there. So St. Joseph comes up with a big plays. Quick recap, Ray, on the scoring.
Okay, we had the first touchdown. Russell Irving blew off tackle for the Griffins 15 yards out and scored to make the score 6-0. The extra point attempt was missed. Brian Dolan came back and scored on a pass from Bagley on a beautiful play-action pass from 20 yards out. The conversion was good. That made it 13-0, and that's where we stand at halftime. 13 St. Joe's, nothing for the Lacey Lions.
Quick assessment, what does your old sidekick Lou Versillo have to do in the second half to adjust?
He's got to forget the score, and he's got to come out and play the second half like he started the first half. He's got to come out and get right back into his game plan, and he's got to open up the first possession they get the ball. They've got to move the ball on the ground, reestablish their game plan, and they got to drive for a touchdown. They get a touchdown, they're right back in the game, because they cannot let St. Joe's get the ball. Irving has been absolutely sensational. Not only is he big and fast, but he doesn't give you a clean shot. He's twisting, he's sliding, he's slipping, and we can't say enough about Tony Baglio, who also has been an excellent ball handler, ran the ball real well, and managed to throw the ball effectively, even with a sore arm, Kenny. So Versillo's got to regroup. St. Joe's got to just keep on doing what it's doing.
Ray Wilson, Bob Strange, and ready to get going here with the second half of tonight's ball game. St. Joseph on top by a score of 13-0 over the Lacey Lions. I'd like to mention our sponsors on high school football this year. Once again, back with us as our major sponsor, the New Jersey National Bank, your Red Circle Bank, and also sponsoring on Channel 8, high school football, Carolina Furniture, Charney's, H.I. Wright & Sons, the House of Paneling, Marita's, Pine Belt Chevrolet, and Service Star Hardware. And we certainly urge you football fans to support our sponsors as they've supported high school football here on Channel 8. Ken Turp with Bob Strange and Ray Wilson. Ray has some stats on the first half of action tonight, right?
Okay, Ken, the stats are unofficial. I have St. Joe's for 8 first downs, 98 yards rushing. They've thrown 4 passes, completed 2 for 15 yards. They've punted twice, fumbled once, and penalized for 10 yards. Lacey, on the other hand, has 2 first downs, 45 yards rushing, 0 for 3 in the passing category. They've punted twice, fumbled 3 times, and turned the ball over here. 2 of those fumbles, and they've been penalized for 15 yards and 1 interference call.
While we have a chance here, we're still awaiting the arrival of the Lacey Lions. The Griffins are right there, as you see, waiting for Lacey to come out on the field.
Let me just correct that. Lacey did complete 1 pass for 15 yards to Christie on the right sideline.
Let me run down some of the games we have coming up on part of our 18-game schedule. I mentioned our other part of our doubleheader this weekend, Sunday night, September 26th at 7 p.m. on Channel 8, Lakewood versus Central Regional. Next week, we have 1 game. That'll be Manchester against Lacey. Lacey's home opener. You'll see that Sunday night, October 3rd at 7 o'clock. Other games coming up, Jackson and Toms River East on October 9th at 7:30 p.m. And then as part of a doubleheader, October 10th at 7 o'clock, Point Pleasant Beach and Pinelands. On October 17th, we'll have 2 games back-to-back starting at 7 o'clock. That's a Sunday evening. You'll see Manchester, Pinelands, and Southern and Toms River North. Gentlemen, this game could be the Class A South Championship game. We'll have it on Channel 8. The playback time, Saturday, October 23rd 7:30 p.m. It's a Friday night game. The Brick Green Dragons defending #1 team in the shore area at Toms River South. That, as most of the experts are saying, will decide Class A South. Chip LaBarca has a lot of excellent ball players. He did a fine job last year. He's got key players coming back. He's got to get a quarterback. Apparently he has a couple. And Sheldon Harvey will be the starting quarterback. And Brick is losing Pete Panuska, Tom Judge, 2 All-Staters. Apparently they're going to have a kid named Cole, who's a great running back. Any of you guys want to comment on what you've heard about South and Brick?
Well, I've heard that Brick has been very impressive in their interior line, and they're very strong running the ball inside. The defensive secondary, naturally, without Panuska, is not as good as it has been. It's a rebuilding year for Brick. They got hit hard. Not only did they lose the All-Staters, but they lost Ryerson and Jones and several other key ball players. Ray?
No, I've heard much the same that you have about Brick. I've heard that the Indian offense is going to be as explosive as ever, and that they get that quarterback situation ironed out, not for a lack of skill, but just the new guy coming in, and Sheldon Harvey and Ernie Williams, I think, is the other kid that they are looking at the quarterback position, and I think he could be an outstanding athlete.
If you remember last year when we did several of the Indian games, Coach LaBarca played a lot of young people, freshmen and sophomores. Now it's going to pay off. They're going to come back as experienced veterans.
Again, the date of that big game is October 22nd at Toms River High School South. It's a 7:30 game on a Friday night. We'll have the playback on Saturday night, October 23rd, also at 7:30 p.m. Another big game that we have on our schedule on Channel 8 will be the rematch of the Giant Stadium Classic last year in December. Toms River High School East will host Warren Wolf and Brick, and George Jeck's team will play Brick on November 5th, a Friday night game at East, and we'll have it on Channel 8 Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. on November 6th. So they're 2 big dates that we look forward to.
I'm looking forward to going back to East, Kenny. They always treat us like we're royalty when we go over there. It's a first-class operation over at Toms River East.
And of course, enjoyable. Bill Lundy, the director of athletics, head of quite a super all-around sports program. Only a 3-year-old school, going into their 4th year, and had all kinds of success, not only in football and other sports. Soccer last year was big under Chuck Potter, and also, of course, gymnastics, swimming. They've done well in a lot of sports.
We're about ready to start the second half here, Kenny, and I think it's important that we note that the Lions must kick off. So it's important to them that they hold St. Joe's right away if they want to get back in this game so they can come away with some good field position.
All right, Scott Churchwell is getting ready to kick off for the Lacey Lions, the big sophomore, who's going to be quite an athlete at Lacey. He's already a standout baseball pitcher with 1 year of varsity under his belt. He kicks off. Nesler on the return from the 10. And Nesler straight ahead up the middle. He's going to get out to about the 30, where the Griffs will put the ball in play.
Quickly, Bob, let me just throw one at you. If you were in Coach Lou Versillo's shoes, how do you handle halftime?
How do you handle halftime? You first go in very calm. You make all your corrections. You remind your guys you're not in the game, and then that you're still in the game. And then after you made all your corrections, you tell them the first one that lets down on you better bring a shovel to practice because you're going to bury him Monday.
Split end to the right. Dolan, Brian Dolan, who scored a touchdown on a pass from Baglio, is the tight end on the left side. Baglio gives the fullback Troncone, and Troncone doesn't get too much. On the bottom of the tackle, John Severis, the left linebacker, number 54. Kevin Lundberg also in there, number 61 for Lacey. Pickup of 2 second and a long 8 for the Griffins. St. Joseph 13, Lacey nothing. Opening game for both clubs as we start the new season. High formation once again. Russ serving the tailback. Baglio wants to throw. Rushed. Scrambles. Near sideline. And finally ridden out of bounds. So Baglio picks up some yardage. Avoids the big loss. Tackle on the play by Rich Cottrell, number 76. And looked like Lundberg helped out, number 61.
Lundberg had real good early pressure on St. Joe quarterback, but Baglio did a great job of avoiding it.
Yeah, Baglio should have been hit for a sack that time. He turned about a 7-yard loss into about a 5-yard gain. Can't complain about that.
3rd and 6 for St. Joseph on their own 34-yard line. Split end to the far side. Pitch to the tailback, coming around the near side, Irving. Irving is stacked up at a line of scrimmage out of bounds. And Lacey had about 4 or 5 white shirts there. Cottrell again over there, number 76. Number 51 for Lacey, Ted Douglas. Ralph Scappa, the nose guard, all ganging up as they shut off that play with good pursuit to the near sideline.
Lacey seems to be showing a little emotion right now. They seem like maybe they got a little Firestone type lecture in there.
Here's Baglio to punt. Again, Freeman and Musselman deep. High punt, very high. Fumble, Donnelly fumbled. Picks up his own ball, but he's not going to go anywhere.
I'm wondering, Ken, if the Lacey receivers, they've had trouble fielding a punts all night. If they're having trouble with these lights have a very hard glare, and that ball, when it gets up there in those lights, is tough to see. I'm wondering if they're having trouble spotting the ball.
Linebacker Lance Riley on the tackle for the Griffins, and Lacey puts the ball in play deep in their own territory at about the 25-yard line I'm looking at? Looks up. The reason we're having problems, we're having glare on the lights of the press box at that end of the field. When we look to our left, there's a big glare of lights on the glass here at the St. Joseph press box.
Did Lacey get a chance to work out under lights at all this week?
I don't think they did.
Churchwell carried the ball. He's the backup fullback. And it'll be a gain of 5, 2nd and 5 for Lacey. They're trying to get their offense going here. They've been shut out so far as we're in the 3rd quarter here at St. Joseph High School. Fullback on the call. Not much of a hole. Pasqua. And on the bottom for St. Joseph was number 35, Ralph Dittmeyer, linebacker. Jim Delane also in there. Delane is a safety. Dittmeyer plays the right side linebacker.
Delane came up very quickly on that play, read it very, very well.
It's a 3rd and 1 for the Lions, a crucial situation. The play's coming in from the sideline, but the Lions better hurry up. They don't want to get a 5-yard penalty here.
Tight end Garrity goes to the right side with the wingback. Split end to the left. Fullback again, looking for the first down. Good, strong push there by that defense, pushing him back. Let's see where they mark his progress. It's up to the official where they spot the ball, whether they got the first down or not.
Hate to overuse the word crucial, but this is a very crucial offensive series for Lacey. They have to almost come away with a score at this time.
Hugh Boyd calls for an official's timeout for a measurement. And they bring the chains in from across the way.
With Huey Boyd out there, that crew's got a lot of years. 2 members of that crew, I was talking to him before, Ken, 2 members are in their 22nd year of officiating. The baby of the crew has 7 years officiating.
First down for Lacey. And by the way, you Lacey fans, being that I live down in Lacey in Forked River, I know that there's a big pep rally bonfire coming up for the home opener next weekend. It'll be on Friday night at the Community Hall at Route 9 and Lacey Road. And I received an invitation on behalf of our crew from John Kilmurray, assistant coach of the Lions, who is also recreation director in Lacey. So I hope you fans will turn out in Forked River next Friday night for the big bonfire. Here's Donnelly cutting it back inside. He was following the block of Scott Quinn, his left guard, number 55. Troncone, who's having a big game defensively for St. Joseph, in on the stop.
Yeah, Troncone is doing an excellent job defensively for the Griffins.
4-yard gain for Donnelly, 2nd and 6 for the Lions. Again, tight end to the right side, Musselman, the wingback on the right. Split backfield. Musselman in motion. Handoff to Musselman. Cuts it inside, and he's just short of a first down.
Ken, mentioning Musselman there, I was told by his father before the game that Jeff just received a letter that he's either a finalist or a semifinalist in National Merit Scholarship.
He's a straight-A student.
Greg, sorry.
Jeff, of course, is at Harvard, and he was the all-shore quarterback 2 years ago for Central Regional. Jeff playing varsity baseball up at Harvard. And he also played in the Summer League right here in Toms River, the Jersey Shore Summer League for Henry's Playland. Here's the measurement. First down for Lacey. 7:27 left, third period, 13-0. Griffins on top as they scored on a second quarter run by Russ Irving, and then a pass Baglio to Brian Dolan. 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. 13-0 is the score.
Ken, this is what Lacey has to do if they want to get back in the game. They have to come back and reestablish himself on his first offensive drive. They've linked 2 first downs together. They got to keep it alive.
First down from the 46 of Lacey. Musselman again takes the ball as he came in motion from the wingback position, and he picks up about 4. Cross midfield to the St. Joseph 49.
Bob, just to follow up what you're saying, this is what Lacey has to do, but also they got to come out of here with a score because they're using a lot of time. If they don't score, they've been an ally to St. Joe's rather than an opponent.
Ralph Dittmeyer on the stop, the 6-foot, 175-pound linebacker.
We talked earlier about one of the most explosive play in this Delaware wing T offense is that wingback counter, and Musselman came within 1 man of breaking that all the way.
You just saw the replay there. This is second down 5 and nowhere to go. Blue shirt stacking that play up. Donnelly had nowhere to run.
I'll tell you, Bob, I think you probably remember, and Ken remembers, I just can still see Glenn Covens from Long Branch going on that play.
You can see him. I used to see him every Thanksgiving.
You're talking about the 1969
Yeah,
Long Branch Toms River South games. South #1 in the state at the time. It rained, it thundered, and I'll never forget one of the most exciting games I ever saw. I remember Harry Walters of Toms River South scoring on an end around for the Indians.
The last team with the ball won that day, I think.
Speaking of Harry Walters, he's going to be joining us on Channel 8 a couple of games later in the season. He's coaching at Admiral Farragut, former Maryland star, also former Canadian Football League star out of Toms River South. Here's Ward to throw.
Got him in.
Wide open, overthrows Musselman at the 30-yard line.
Boy, it was one definite breakdown in the Griffin coverage there.
Ward rolled out to the weak side, to the left side that time, and Musselman was wide open. There was nobody near him, and Ward was just a little over-anxious, tried to aim the ball instead of throw it naturally, and overthrew his man.
Here's the replay.
There you can see the replay. Ward rolls out. He can see the receiver. And Musselman was wide open. There were 2 receivers there.
Churchwell puts his foot into the ball. It's going to take a bounce, high bounce to Nesler. Nesler coming to the near sideline, and he is crunched.
Bobby also, I was watching him in the replay. He squared his shoulders up to the line of scrimmage and everything, so he was in real good position.
Tim Garrity, a 6'1", 185-pound senior tight end, down there to stop Nesler on the return play. Griffin's going offense, 1st and 10. Ball.
Very important here, Bob. We were talking about there's 5:22 on the clock, so the Lions used a lot of time against themselves.
Yeah, they moved the ball, but they didn't get any points, and that's what counts.
Here's a hole. Nice run there as the Griffins open up a hole. And that may be a first down.
A little misdirection on first down.
I believe it was Troncone. Just short of a first down. 9-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 1 for St. Joseph.
Don't be surprised if they don't throw here. They have a couple of downs to come back to get the first down. This is an excellent throwing down.
Of course, they might want to use a lot of clock, too, right here. So
McCarthy splits to the near side. And there's the first down as Irving carries up the middle. We're going to take a timeout. We'll be right back.
Flag on the play.
As the Griffins had appeared to pick up the first down on the run by Irving, but they're going to have a legal procedure penalty of 5 yards, so that's going to bring up 2nd and 5 for St. Joseph. The ball is pushed back to the Griffin 19-yard line. And here's a man in motion, Nesler. And the fullback gets the call. Troncone, the ball carrier. He's going to get very close to a first down. Let's see if they're going to measure this. No, they gave him the first down. 1st and 10 for the Griffins.
That motion by St. Joe's that time moved a lot of Lacey defenders.
Yeah, and they know that St. Joe's, and they're coming back away from the motion. They're using the motion man as a decoy. What they'll do is they'll do that a couple of times, then they'll come back to the motion man looking to make a big play to that side.
And Irving hit at the line of scrimmage, spun off the tackle of Pasqua, and then fell forward for a yard or two. Gain of about a yard, 2nd and 9 for the Griffs. There you see the scoreboard clock superimposed on the picture.
Bob,
Third period.
What do you do defensive here? You try to create any situations now?
Well, you got to make things happen. You got to blitz. You got to take chances. You got to go for a turnover.
Nesler, the slot back, going in motion. Irving slipped as he tried to cut back at the line of scrimmage. Severese is playing a pretty good game for Lacey. We mentioned him quite a few times on defense, the left linebacker, senior, 185-pounder.
Yeah, that was a very good hit by Severese. You mentioned the slip there. I think part of the slip was involved in the hit. He really took his feet right out from underneath him.
So we're still 9 yards to go with third down coming up. 13-0, St. Joseph over the Lacey Lions. Here's the pitch to Troncone, and the Lacey defense was completely ready for that play. Greg Musselman came in quickly on that play.
Greg read the quick sweep there, and then he just fired up from this outside spot and made a great hit.
So Lacey dropping back, Donnelly and Musselman to return this punt, as Baglio is going to set up on his own 25, own 15, I should say. So Lacey should get excellent field position on this exchange. Low snap, but he handled it. Fair catch by Donnelly at the Lacey 39-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Lions. 1:44 left in the third quarter.
I think Lacey might have to put it in the air a little bit.
Well, time's running down. There's one more quarter, and they've got to come and get some points. You see, the one thing they got in their favor, there's only 13 points on that board. 2 touchdowns can still win a game. They have an excellent kicker, but they've got to start moving. They have to get that ball. They got to get a drive together. They got to get some points on the board.
I wonder if Lacey's missing the all-around play of Kevin Smith from last year, and Bob Tupper, the fine fullback who did a lot of blocking.
Kevin had a good game in the All-Star game we broadcast, Ken. Kevin was a good athlete.
And they may be missing Jeff Fenton on an offensive line, who's out with a shoulder injury. Here's Ward running for his life, and he is going to be dropped by Ed Scott, the 6'4", 247-pounder, goes both ways. We mentioned him earlier on the left side of that offensive line, and there he is from his left tackle position.
I think people have underestimated the St. Joe Ball Club. What you've seen here is we saw a big man catch a quarterback, a 6'4", 240-pounder, catch a quarterback on a sprint out. That should not happen. Somebody's underestimated these people. It's one thing when you have a big team. It's another thing when you have a big and fast team.
Well, as I said in the newspaper, the Griffins expecting their best team in 5 or 6 years. So I think Bob Tormolin knew he had something this year. And right now, the Griffins are looking very tough. They go from the split backfield. Pasqua gets a very good hole off his right side of the offensive line.
Well, one thing that Coach Tormolin mentioned that was impressive to me, he said his seniors were good people. And you have good people that are good athletes, and I think you're going to have a solid football team because you get good leadership out of them, and that's important.
We got 3rd and 8 coming up for the Lions. And there you see we're running down at the end of the third period, 25 seconds to go.
The Lions need a big play here.
Again, Ward to throw long and incomplete. Intended for number 45, Glenn Christie, the split end. Good coverage by Jim Delane, 31. And that's going to bring up another punting situation. Churchwell will come back on the field. 10 seconds to go. Clock stopped on the incompleted pass, third quarter. Well, Scott Churchwell is getting a lot of practice on his punting tonight. Gets a good snap. High punt, Nesler. And Nesler will go nowhere. Well, he's still on his feet. Gets maybe a yard or two. And that should do it. The end of the third quarter with a score. The St. Joseph Griffins 13, the Lacey Lions nothing. Bob Stranger, Ray Wilson, and I will be back in just a moment with the final quarter of play.
At the end of the third quarter, with the score, Griffins 13, Lions nothing.
Getting ready to start the final quarter of play. Once again, remind you, the New Jersey National Bank, the Red Circle Bank, our major advertiser here on high school football again throughout this season. We'll have the Player of the Game Award sponsored by the New Jersey National Bank at the end of tonight's ball game. Baglio wants to throw. Off the ball, Nesler, incomplete. He was on the 40-yard line of the Lions and overthrown down the near sideline.
Yeah, and that was Scott Ward back there that was definitely beaten on that pattern.
That was about 40 yards in the air, Ken, and he's supposed to have a sore arm.
Well, that's what the coach told me, that his left arm is swollen at the elbow, and he's a left-handed passer, but I don't think it's bothering him too much if he can air it out like that.
I think Bob Tormolen's been sitting over here since September 1 like the Cheshire Cat.
Goes to show you can't place much faith in the preseason, can you, Ray?
All right, here comes Irving, and Donnelly brings him down with help from his friends. Got 4 white shirts in there, number 78 for Lacey. Also in on a stop, and that's Ralph Scappa, who he mentioned a lot tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Bob, because really there were big rumblings coming out of Lacey Township. That's not to say they still will not have a big year, but there were, you know, big rumblings, and I did expect the Lions to look a little bit stronger. Of course, this game still has a long way to go.
In St. Joseph last scrimmage against Lawrence Township, they had 330 yards, but only put 6 points on the board. Just a lot of mental errors, and that was the problem. In the scrimmages, he felt that they moved the football well. Right now, Griffin's hit Nesler right in front of the Griffin bench at the 45-yard line, ridden out of bounds.
This is a very good St. Joe's football team, Ken. The Lacey Lions are not a bad football team. It's just that when you have size and speed, that's an almost unbeatable combination. Then you add to that a quarterback who can handle the ball, run with the ball, and throw the ball, and you got a great big tailback. It's a tough combination to beat.
Bob, I think Scott could have played for that big Red Bank team you had there a few years ago. They were all like that.
First down, 10 to go. Baglio keeps, fake to Troncone, and coming up with a hit, Lundberg and Musselman. And Sabaris also in there.
I like to pride myself in my eyes on watching the game. And Baglio has faked me out a couple of times, and I've been a coach. I've been involved in football over 25 years, and a couple of times I've had to look for the ball twice.
And let's also give a credit to that back going into the line on the fake, because they really make the fake. They duck that inside shoulder and look like they got the ball.
Here's Baglio, 2nd and 9. This time he keeps the ball. He did the same thing. He faked the Troncone and then kept the ball, and he faked me out on that one. I thought he gave the ball off, Bob, that time.
What he's doing, Ken, he's getting tremendous explosion out of his offensive line. They're controlling the neutral zone. They're getting him that first couple of yards off the ball, and he can operate right down the line of scrimmage. That allows him to ride the back. Watch how the offensive line explodes and controls the neutral zone on a replay. You see that? So he can come right down the line of scrimmage, ride that back in, step around it, and then keep the ball and cut up behind it.
I mentioned Dave Gross is in there now at the right tackle for St. Joseph, 5'10", 180-pounder, number 72. Fumble. Baglio just falls on it, not taking any chances.
Ken, while we got this lull here, our list of officials before was incomplete. We left out the timer, Bob Fairweather.
All right, here's 4th down play, so Griffin's sitting in their punting unit.
This has been the best play for the Griffins all the time. Lacey's had trouble fielding the punts. They've had 3 turnovers, I believe, on 2 of them were on punting situations.
Well, I'm wondering maybe, I'm trying to think if they played any night football last year.
Looks like they're going after this one. Bad.
Going to be a big break here for Lacey. Lions are going to have that ball way down there.
What we had happen, Ken, is the Lions put pressure on a kicker. And I said this before, that when you're behind at this time in the game, you got to make things happen. They put pressure on a kicker. The kick was forced to kick. The ball had some backspin. We got a replay coming up, and you're going to see the ball had some backspin on it. And very alertly, a Lacey player picked it up and advanced the ball.
Was there a flag or something on the play? Yeah.
Looks like a personal foul penalty here after the play. Man was tackled out of bounds, and I'm still trying to figure out who was the man running the ball. Does anybody get his number? Yeah, let's watch this.
All right,
see who it is.
Here we have a replay, Ken. You can see the kick has backspin on it. The ball bounces back.
Tim Garrity, number 33.
Gary alertly picks it up and advances about 15 more yards. That, coupled with the first personal foul penalty, gives Lacey excellent field position.
All right, Lacey has the ball at a... Again, we're looking at it
like about
reflection off
15, 16 yards. 15, 16 yard line.
16 yard line. Up the middle, Pasqua. So here's a big chance for Lacey to get on a board here. Pianis made the stop for the Griffins. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9. And now we've been told it's on the 10-yard line. We are looking, there's a set of light standards across the way that are shining directly on our glass here on this angle that we're looking at right now. And it's very difficult to see the yard markers.
It's not on the 10 according to the...
And now it's 12-yard line. All right, 12-yard line. Pitch to the far side.
It's to Donnelly, I believe.
Donnelly.
And he picked up about 5 or 6 yards.
Good gain on the play. $75 Gordon Nelson in there. Russ Irving on the pursuit for the Griffins.
Nelson and George Connell just came into the game for St. Joe's. Give him some beef on that defensive line.
Big 3rd and 1 play for Lacey.
Learn a lot about both football teams right here.
Character. It's made inside the 20-yard line.
And what are we going to say the ball is? About the 4-yard line?
It's on a 3, Ken.
All right, 3-yard line. Fullback. And looks like a possible loose football there. I believe Lacey's going to retain possession. Scott Churchwell, the young sophomore.
I think we're going to see a measurement to see if Lacey got the first down.
First down for Lacey. 1st and goal at about the 2-yard line. Clock shows 7:41 left in this ball game. St. Joseph leading 13-0. Lacey trying to get on that scoreboard. Here they go. Up to the line of scrimmage. Pasqua and I believe it's Donnelly in that backfield together. Pasqua dives over the line. Touchdown, Lacey. 2-yard dive by Andy Pasqua. 868-pound senior fullback.
He just
and
dove
Lacey's
up
on the board.
It was a simple power play, Ken, and Pasqua just leaped up over the big lineman and got into the end zone. That's what he had to do down there. You got the replay. You can see him go up and over. He actually gets that with a great effort on his own. It's going to make this an interesting game if we make this extra point.
Now they're going for 2. Donnelly lines up as a lone back in that backfield. And now, did Tim Garrity move, or was the St. Joseph man, Troncone, over the line of scrimmage? They collided. Let's see how they're going to call it. Griffins offsides. If this is to the goal line, and here go the Lions. Ward rolling, rush, and it's going to be no good.
He had a receiver out there open in the end zone, but he never got a chance to set up. It was a great outside rush.
And who else made the play but Gary Troncone?
I was a little surprised they went for 2 in that particular situation.
Yeah, I was too, Ray. We were talking about it, and I wish we could have got it on a year before it happened. But you wonder why you don't go for 1 there, and then if you miss it, you go for 2 after the second score. But I guess Coach Priscilla figures he'll take the 2 shots at the 2, and he can still get 14.
So with 7:38 to play, St. Joseph leading Lacey 13-6. You know, we were talking about brick. Bob, you didn't mention that the Green Dragons opened their season against your school, Red Bank.
Green Dragons go up to Red Bank tomorrow. I wish I could tell you what's going to happen. I can tell you this, that the kids at Red Bank are really psyched. They got 3 great receivers, a great throwing quarterback, and it's not the same Red Bank team it was of years ago. You know, the school's only got 960 kids now, not 1,400 like when I was coaching, but they're not afraid of the Green Dragons. They're ready. They want a piece of them.
Well, we'll know in about 24 hours.
Yes, we'll know.
Don't forget, we've got Central Regional coming off their first winless season in their history, trying to rebuild after the split with Lacey, and they'll be taking on Lakewood's Piners, and from what I understand from Gary Carmody, he feels the team's improved 100% over last season, so he's still got a young team at the Central Regional. Here's a kickoff. Nesler almost broke it. Nesler was tripped up by, I won't say a shoestring tackle. Somebody reached out and just got a hand on his thigh pads as he went by. That's all that prevented him from going all the way.
I would say less than a shoestring tackle on that one. It would have been really out of there.
You know, Ken, the 2 Lacey kickoffs have been line drive shots. When the ball gets down there that fast, you get an excellent chance to get some running room before the defenders can get down and cover it. So you can get ahead of steam and your blocking can set up, and it's easy to pop one when the ball gets down there that quick.
1st and 10 for the Griffins. The ball at about the 32. Baglio holds on to the football, takes a loss on the play.
Strategy question here, Ray. Ken, what do you do if you're St. Joe's? Do you keep your game plan wide open, or you just try and eat up some of the clock?
Well, it's an interesting point, Bob. I was just thinking the same thing. Does St. Joe's now play not to lose, or are they still playing to win? I think if they're playing not to lose, they could create a problem.
I want to bet they'll keep their game plan wide open.
Scott Quinn led the defense on that last charge for Lacey. 2nd and 10. Troncone and number 78, Scappa, on the stop. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Lacey's got to make some things happen here. They got to commit on defense. They got to force things, because if not, they'll get the ball back with too little time to drive. There's 6 minutes left to go in the game. They've got to make some things happen. They got to force another turnover if they want to get in the game.
Baglio looking to the near side, short pass.
Got him
at the 42-yard line. It is. They say he caught it.
Yes.
Bontempo was the receiver.
It's going to bring up a punting situation anyhow, Ken.
By the way, I don't think we mentioned the Lacey staff, Bob. I think we should run them down.
No, we haven't.
We talked about St. Joseph.
All right, head coach Lou Basillo, the assistant coaches, Vince Amoya, John Kilmurray, who I understand volunteers this time, Ernie Letta, Ken Masher, Pete Molinaro, Chip Peterson, and Mike Shern.
Well, you got some ex-Golden Eagle stars from Central Region on that staff. Ken Masur, who was senior captain in 1971 for Joe Boyd, and John Kilmurray was a junior on that team. And there's 2 right there. And Chip Peterson was starting offensive guard for Joe Boyd at Central. So you've got 3 former Golden Eagles on Lou's staff at Lacey.
You love those Eagles, don't you, Ken?
Yes.
It's a real bird man, Kenny.
Little fondness for the Eagles like you have the fondness for the Bucks.
Of course. You can't put that kind of time commitment into anything and not care.
We have a timeout in the field with a punting situation here for St. Joseph. Ray, what's the word on the Lakewood Piners? What are we going to see tomorrow in our game with Central Regional?
Lakewood is very inexperienced. They have a young team. They have 7 seniors on their team. They do not have the breakaway back that they've had in the past. And it's a young team. They've got a senior on the line, Tom Bradley, the center. But other than that, they're going to struggle for a while, and they're going to have to work hard and get their young team playing together.
Of course, Ray's still teaching at Lakewood, so he should be pretty close to the scene there with Art Turner. And ball finally rolls out of bounds. And Lacey, might be their final shot here, Bob. 5:30 to go.
Well, they've got enough time. They've got decent field position. And the ball was kind enough to roll out of bounds to stop them. but that's a tough St. Joe's football team they've got to move against, and a big St. Joe's team. And at this point in the game, usually size starts to wear people down.
Once again, we want to wish Steve Gepp a recovery. Had knee surgery today at Monmouth Medical Center in Long Branch. And if you Griffin fans want to send him a card up to Monmouth Medical Center or over to St. Joseph High School, I'm sure I'll be glad to hear from you. Tom Weston, the acting AD here tonight at St. Joseph. There's a big hit and a loss on the play. Churchwell, the ball carrier, number 79 for the Griffins on the stop, Mike Bienis. He is a veteran, played last year for St. Joseph.
And he had some help from Jim Schultz, number 73 on that. The two people broke in there clean. There had to be a mix-up in the blocking. But, you know, like I said, those big people up front have to start wearing down some of those Lacey linemen.
3-yard loss, 2nd and 13. 5 minutes to go. Donnelly cuts it inside nicely. Back across the green, Donnelly. And Donnelly has a first down.
He fumbled the ball, Ken.
It'll be Lacey retaining possession.
Lacey possession.
Beautiful run by John Donnelly. Finally stopped by number 35, Ralph Dittmeyer, along with Jim Delane, number 31.
I was just about to comment, Bob, to go a little bit against what you were saying. Also, is an old saying about luck follows speed.
All right, we got a replay here, and you can see the great play by Donnelly with the great cutback. He went outside, which was a good call, because if it's not there, Donnelly takes the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. But when he saw he had running room, he cut it up the field.
1st and 10 for Lacey at their own 48-yard line. And here's a first, a nice hole for Donnelly on the first down play. And then making the stop was Jim Delane, number 31, after a gain of about 3 or 4 on a play. Let's see, we're going to the marker there. Called about a 4-yard gain. 2nd and 6. Ball into Griffin territory at their 48. We saw that nearing the 4-minute mark, Bob.
We saw that little inside counter that time, and Donnelly's having a little trouble holding on to the ball, but when you don't practice all week, that's what happens.
Musselman spurts through there, but he's going to be short of a first down. We'll take a timeout and come right back.
Good second effort by Musselman. He's the leader.
We are back. And incomplete.
Oh, I don't believe this.
Intended for Garrity, the tight end. He wanted pass interference called on number 31, Delane, but he doesn't get it.
I'll tell you, Ken, it sure looked like he knocked them. It kept them from getting to the ball that time. It really did.
We got to remind you once again, we will have Player of the Game plaques presented after every game here on Channel 8, sponsored by the New Jersey National Bank. And that'll be coming up on our post-game show. We have an injury on the field right now.
It's a lying down, Ken, but we haven't been able to get a number.
I would kind of go along with you, Bob. If the other one was pass interference, I think this
one
definitely
was
pass interference.
The rule on pass interference is if the defender hits him while the ball's in the air. And even though there was definitely a collision on that one, there was no way the receiver could have got to the ball.
Talking about bad news with Steve Gepp undergoing knee surgery today. Certainly wanted to send our condolences to Art Turner, the head coach of the Lakewood Pioneer football team, and our sympathy in loss of his father this week. And Art Turner will not be coaching in tomorrow's game. Acting as the head coach will be former Lakewood standout Giannis Christberg. He will be the head coach for the day. I told Giannis on the phone last night if he wins the ball game and he can retire with a perfect 1-0 record in his coaching career. But we're certainly sorry to hear about Art Turner's dad passing away. I know Art Turner is such a great guy, and it's just a shame. And here it is, the opening game of the season, and he has to go through a family loss. All right, back to the game with 13-6 scored. Lacey pitches out. Donnelly turns the corner. He's got a first down, and the Lacey bench erupts across the way.
Ken,
There's your speed for you.
That was Kevin Lundberg that was injured for Lacey and went out of the game.
Lundberg, one of their veteran defensive linemen. Be a big loss to lose him.
Just to go back to Art Turner, the word was that Art would not be at the game tomorrow, but you know, maybe you never know, he might show up, but the official word was that he was not going to be there.
Well, he hasn't been in school all week, and I doubt very much that he will be there tomorrow.
He's in Mississippi.
Meanwhile, gentlemen, things are getting excited here. It's got 3 minutes to go. Lacey's crossed into St. Joe's territory.
Here's the handoff. Again, Donnelly cuts it back again. Donnelly's still on his feet. And John Donnelly has really sparked the Lacey offense here in the fourth quarter of tonight's ball game. He's going to pick up about 9 yards. It'll be 2nd and 1. Cutting back ability.
Oh, he does. He reads well. He comes out behind his blockers. And as soon as he sees the blockers start to string out, he plants that outside leg, there it is, and cuts back. He breaks tackles, Ken. That's what's most impressive about him. He breaks tackles.
And he falls forward.
Down around the 30-yard line, and that dive play is stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Got to make things happen. It's 2 minutes.
Pasquale was the ball carrier. Jim Wynn, defensive end, on the stop. George Connell also in there. Big number 77, 6'4", 234-pound tackle.
People ask Ken why football is always credited with a team that builds great character. Lacey was down 13-0, scored. Lacey's driving. If St. Joe stops them here, look at the character building there. And if the Lions go in, look at the character building there. I remember one time Jake Gaither was a great coach at Florida A&M, Coach Bob Hayes, and we were talking about winning and losing. And people always like to say that winning isn't everything. Well, Jake Gaither once said to me, he says, that's true. He says, you build a lot of character losing. He says, but I've built a hell of a lot more character winning, he said, than I ever did losing.
I want to mention we'll be back here at St. Joseph High School later in the season for the Shore Regional game on Channel 8. And that'll be coming up, the game will be played on Friday night, November 13th. We'll have it, no, it's actually a Saturday afternoon game, November 13th. And we'll have it on TV on Sunday night at 7 o'clock, November 14th. One of the rare day games here at St. Joseph, as the Griffins play most of their games under the lights.
Bob, I think Jake Gaithers is the originator, the author of the statement, mobile, agile, and hostile, isn't he, the way he likes his players?
He coined a lot of phrases. Another one was, you got to cut on a dime and give me a nickel change.
All right, here's the 3rd and 1 for Lacey. There was movement by the Lacey line. The right side of their offensive line moved a little quickly there. The right tackle jumped.
Those mistakes do hurt, Ken.
2 minutes, 11 seconds left in this game. 5-yard penalty.
Lou Versillo used to have red hair, didn't he? It's turning gray now.
He said that he had had problems this week because he had not had his first team together. He had people injured, he had people out sick, and he said timing was a problem for him. And sure enough, they've had trouble on the ball exchanges. They've had trouble getting off the ball in unison. They've had trouble fielding the ball on their special teams. And when you're playing a lot of young people, you have a lot of people out, those kinds of things happen. But this Lacey club's going to be a good football team, and so is this St. Joe's team.
3rd and 6 for the Lions. Donnelly getting to the outside, and just short of that yard marker, just short of the first down marker.
It's going to bring up a 4th and 1, Ken.
And it stops the clock as he got out of bounds. 2:02 left to play. Tommy Lyons, the strong safety, made the stop. That's number 27.
Less than a yard over. That's very short distance for a first down.
4th and less than a yard, as Ray said. So 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to play in this game. St. Joseph clinging to a 13-6 lead. Griffins scoring all their points in the second quarter. Lacey came back here in the fourth quarter. Quarterback sneak. He's got it, and more.
Ward read it that time. The inside was plugged up, and he just slid it outside to where he could pick up the first down. And the clock will be stopped till they place the chains, and then it'll start right back in. We got 1:58 to go here, Ken.
George Connell, right tackle, made the stop for St. Joseph. Ray And after the next play, I know you want to mention somebody that's here tonight. And Churchwell spins across the right side of his offensive line for a yard or two.
I would expect the Lions to put the ball in the air here for no other reason, to stop the clock, to give them a chance to regroup. All right, they're going to take the timeout instead. That's a good move here because they can call possibly 2 plays, 1 running play and 1 pass play, so that they can take advantage of the time. But things are really getting tight here.
Ray, there's a veteran gentleman who coached many years down in South Jersey here tonight. Why don't you tell the fans who he is?
Well, standing down here on the sideline just above the bench here from St. Joe's is John Boyd, the former head coach at Atlantic City High School and the brother of Joe Boyd, who coached at Central Regional. Of course, John was very successful at Atlantic City and coached Bob Fiacco in high school. And we had the opportunity to get out and scrimmage Atlantic City quite often when I was at South and go against John. His teams are always well prepared and good-looking football teams.
Well, I can understand now why John Boyd has that white hair, because if he coached Bob Fiacco, I'm sure he had a few gray hairs when he was coaching. We're just kidding, Bob.
Is John still a lifeguard? I understand he's
John is the
active lifeguard.
He is the head lifeguard over in Seaside Heights. 53 years. And of course, Hugh Boyd, who's officiating here tonight, has also been a lifeguard for many years in Seaside Heights. The Boyd family, quite prominent over in Seaside Heights. Ward wants to throw, but the pressure's on, and he's going to take a big loss. Mike Bienis put the heat on.
We had talked about character building, and we said that it would happen here, and St. Joe's needed a big play, and they sure came up with one there.
There is one big play by Mike Bienis. That may be the game saver.
All right, we got a replay here. You can see Ward drop back. He gets great pressure from those big front linemen in St. Joe's, and Ward never gets a chance to set up.
So that's going to push Lacey back further, and they'll have 3rd down and long yardage. Loss of approximately 10 yards, so ball's going to be down around the 34-yard line.
Yeah, it's beyond the 34-yard line. That's good.
So Lacey's going to have to think this over as Lou Versillo comes out to join the offensive huddle. See what kind of a play he can come up with here. 1:12 left in this game.
What's tough in this kind of situation when you run a Delaware wing T, it's a play-action pass offense. And the play-action pass fools nobody at this point in the game. You don't have the drop-back game in your offense. The same thing with St. Joe's. When you have these running offenses that the colleges use, the drop-back pass isn't there that you see in the pros. This is a situation where 112 would be a lot of time for a pro team. A pro team would probably get 10 or 12 plays off. We're lucky if we see 3 or 4 in here.
All right, here come the Lions. They send 2 receivers to the far side. I formation. Ward to roll out to the far side. And intercepted by the Griffins down the far sideline. And finally knocked out of bounds. Let's see who it is.
There's flags all over the field.
Down. Yes, Ken. But I think the flags are going to come after the interception, which is going to be a penalty. But it's going to be St. Joe's ball, and I think it's all over for the Lions.
Ralph Dittmeyer, linebacker, number 35, is the player who came up with the football and returned it. Let's see what the flags are going to be. Ralph Dittmeyer, who's played a good game at right linebacker tonight, on the spot there to pick that ball off. 1 minute exactly left to play. Here, let's watch this replay here.
If we watch the replay, you can see the great pressure again. Ward steps up, delivers the ball, but Dittmeyer steps in, takes off for the sidelines. I think what you had happen was a clip. I don't know if we can see it that well on our screen, but I think it was a clip, and it wound up pushing the ball back 15 yards.
Donnelly made the stop for Lacey, ran him out of bounds. We're going to have to decide on a player of the game here very shortly. This game is not over yet.
St. Joe's very wisely just going to fall on the ball and force Lacey to use timeouts to let the clock run out, Ken. Time to think, guys. We're going to vote. Who are going to be our best players? You got to excuse us for a second while we submit our ballots here for the outstanding players of the game.
We're going to honor a lineman tonight, I think, and we're going to have 2 players of the game. We'll announce our player of the game in a moment. We have 2 of them, and we think one lineman played well both ways tonight, and you don't honor the lineman too often. So tonight, we will present a plaque to one of the linemen for playing well offensively and defensively.
I think it's fitting that we honor a lineman, Ken, because in reality, it has been the St. Joe's line that has dominated this game.
You tend to want to go with the backs because they stand out, but...
but St. Joe's lineman has neutralized Lacey the whole game. They've put great pressure every time Ward's gone back to pass, and they've made the big plays when they had to with the sacks.
Clock is going to run out here with 10 seconds. It's running right now. So our players of the game are Ed Scott, 2-way tackle for the Griffins, number 74, and Troncone. Gary Troncone made the big plays. There's the end of the game, and the victorious Griffins showing their emotion as they, I don't know whether you would want to call it an upset. Most experts did go with the lines, but in an opening ball game like this, really, I don't know whether you can really classify one of these 2 teams as a favorite. We went with Lacey in our picks.
We went with Lacey.
St. Joseph certainly was highly rated coming in. I know Versillo, last Friday night, I ran into him here in Toms River at one of the local spots, and he was quite concerned about the Griffins.
The game went the way Versillo said he felt it would happen. He felt if the big St. Joe's backs got into his secondary, that his defensive secondary would not be able to contain him. And that's just what happened. They were able to spring the big plays in there. Irving got loose, got the scores. Lacey hurt itself with a couple of big turnovers, and those turnovers pretty much made the difference. So we had a good game, Ken.
All right, we're going to wrap it up now and go down to the field for our presentations with Ed Scott and Gary Troncone. So the final score, St. Joseph 13 and Lacey 6. We'll be back with a post-game show in just one moment.
People will try anything to trim the high cost of cooling and heating. Anything. But here's the best place to start. The GE Executive Weathertron Heat Pump for extra efficient heating and cooling. It's designed to help you afford the comfort you want and need, because saving electricity means saving money. There are lots of ways you can try to save money, but do it right. See your GE dealer now. Save money on central air and heating. Check the yellow pages for your nearest GE dealer.
Where can you go to find the area's only Armstrong Floor Fashion Center dealer who can offer you a written guarantee from Armstrong assuring you of its quality, or the very best in hardwood flooring featuring Bruce, along with 7 other manufacturers represented to bring you over 50 different floors on display? And how about ceramic tile? Do you know the local retailer who carries a complete stock of mosaic and quarry tiles? The answers to all these questions, plus everything you want to know about redecorating, visit the House of Paneling, 298 Highway 9, Bayville.
Renting ski equipment can be a problem, but not at Maritas. Our qualified personnel are trained to pamper you with comfortable fitting ski boots featuring easy step-in bindings. At Maritas, all our skis are sharpened and waxed regularly to make skiing a pleasure. Special rates are available for groups of 10 or more. Equipment can be reserved in advance. And be sure to ask about our daily and weekly bus trips starting in November. That's Maritas, the skier's place, Highway 37 East, Toms River. Call 201-270-6404.
Hi, I'm Susan Cox, and I'm a trust officer with New Jersey National Bank here in Ocean County. Thanks to some dramatically different tax laws that could work very decidedly to your benefit, estate planning today is a whole new ballgame. That's why I hope you'll come in to explore the professional trust capability that is at your service, and your families, here at the Red Circle Bank, New Jersey National.
Show down the field. We're going to have our players of the game, our first honors of the new season. Go to Ed Scott, the big defensive lineman and offensive lineman. Played both ways tonight, did a great job. We mentioned the size of that offensive line to the left, and Ed's one of them. And also on defense made some big plays. It's always nice once in a while to honor one of the linemen. They get they do all the hard work, hit those sleds all during practice, and don't get much of the glory. Ed, congratulations.
Thank you very much. We knew Lacey was going to be a tough team when we got here, and we did the job on opening night.
I'm going to ask you, a lot of so-called experts were kind of leaning to Lacey, 3 of them on Channel 8. I'm going to be very honest with you, on our pregame show, we picked Lacey to win a close game. But did you consider this an upset, or did you feel really all along you should have been the team to beat here tonight?
Well, we knew Lacey was a really tough team. They had a really good schedule. Record last year, 5-4. We were 3-5-1. We prepared well, and we never thought this was going to be upset if we won during preseason.
I read in the paper where Coach felt this is going to be the best St. Joseph team in 5 or 6 years, so that's really saying that he's optimistic and has a lot of confidence in you guys.
Yeah, we've been working hard, and I hope it pays off.
What was the feeling on the line of scrimmage tonight? What was going on out there? You felt you dominated all along?
Well, they were really tough on the offensive line. They had really a lot of strong boys. We just, that last series, we just had to suck it up, and, they played a hell of a game.
Program says 247 pounds. Is that correct?
No, it's not. I came to Prees with 237. They beefed me up a little up. I was a little heavier sophomore year. I lost a little weight.
Still a pretty big kid. I'm going to let Ray ask some questions here and also present the plaque, which is sponsored by the New Jersey National Bank.
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Eddie. He did a super job. And one thing I've heard, I talked to Coach Tormolen during the week getting ready for the game. He was talking about senior leadership and having outstanding people on his football team, talking about the quality of the seniors doing well in school as well as on the field. And I think one thing, just listening to you talk here, Ed, I'm very impressed by the way you handle yourself, and it appears to me that you might be an outstanding leader. What separates this senior group of football players at St. Joe's possibly from other seniors in the past that would cause the coach to really pick you guys out and say you're doing a great job?
I think we're much more dedicated. We work very hard on the off season, and with weights and running and all that stuff, it has to pay off, all that extra work. That's what we're a very dedicated team.
Well, I think you did a great job. Bob Stranja pointed out that the quarterback for Lacey took off on a sprint out, and the big linemen from St. Joe's were catching him. He said, that's not supposed to happen. And when you're big and you're fast, I guess you're going to win a lot of football games.
I hope so.
Okay. Congratulations, Ed. You did a super job, and good luck the rest of the year.
Okay, now let's get Gary Troncone in here. And Bob Strange is going to do the honors of presenting the plaque. Well, let's do this right away and hold it up where people can see it. We haven't really given them a shot. This is from the New Jersey National Bank. And, of course, we thank Ed Hand, Vice President in charge of marketing for the New Jersey National Bank, for once again sponsoring these awards this year, making them possible. And, Gary, there it is. Congratulations. Now, I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I'll let the former head coach of the Red Bank Bucks ask you some things that he has on his mind. You made, I don't know how many sacks here tonight, at least 3 of them you had. Seemed like you were constantly in there on the passing situations. Did they turn you loose? What was going on?
No, I just went in there and did my, the best I could. You see, I was sick all week, so I missed all the practice. So I had to kind of make up for it. I wanted to show them that just because I wasn't here, I couldn't do the job. So I just went in there and did the best I could do.
What was wrong? Illness, virus, that kind of thing, or what?
The flu, something like that.
You feel good tonight?
Yeah, I feel better.
You look good. I know sometimes when you're sick, you play better. It seems to work out that way.
I should get sick all the time.
Coach would like to see that happen. I'm going to ask you, this year's St. Joseph team, you're off to a great start now. You're 1-0. Going into the season, what was the goals that the team set, or don't you set goals?
Well, we have the opportunity, I think, to be a state championship team if we really work at it. We have the size, we have the talent coming back with Anthony Baglio quarterbacking. He's a very good quarterback. We have Robert Gould in the backfield, Russell Irving rather. And we have a lot of experienced people coming back, and I think that if we really try, we can go all the way this year.
John Donnelly has great speed for Lacey. He had been hurt and was a question mark coming in tonight, but apparently he was all right. He didn't start the game, but he played just about the whole way. You kept him, you contained him. He made some nice runs, but you didn't let him break the ball game, go for the distance.
There was a few there, I got taken in on, but I guess that's to expect that you can't, get everyone, but I just tried my best. That's all I came down to.
I'm going to move you over to center here because Bob Strange wants to talk to you.
Congratulations.